In a press briefing at her headquarters in Auvers-sur-Oise, France, the Iranian Resistance's President-elect, Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, urged the international community to end the policy of appeasement, which she said has seriously imperiled the security of the world. Time has run out, she insisted, warning that either the Security Council acts quickly or the mullahs will have the bomb. Sir Russell Johnston, a member of the House of Lords, Senator Jean-Pierre Michel of France, Senator Patrick van Krankelsven of Belgium, and Paolo Casaca, a member of the European Parliament, also attended the briefing. Commenting on the consequences of Europe's 8-year policy of appeasement, Mrs. Rajavi said, "The Iranian people and resistance were unfortunately perceived as pawns in a bid by Western countries to satisfy the mullahs and moderate the regime's behavior. Now the policy of conciliation has faltered and the mullahs are on the verge of getting the bomb. I also emphasized that the time had come for a new policy vis-à-vis the Iranian people and resistance by supporting democratic change in Iran. Today, the crux of the matter is whether one can prevent the mullahs from obtaining the bomb and an outbreak of another war in the region. After 2 decades of appeasement, could a repeat of the Munich experience of the 1930s be avoided? My reply is indeed yes, through democratic change in Iran. The world community is facing a critical choice: continued compromise leading to unwanted war, or firmness and removing the obstacles it has placed in the path of change in Iran." Mrs. Rajavi said, "Currently the world is in search of a solution." She added, "Some make it look as though the alternative to accommodating the Iranian regime is a foreign war, and that the world must accept the nuclear-armed mullahs to avoid war. The regime's lobby and those with vested interests are propagating this notion. On the other hand, some see the only solution in a foreign war and military intervention. I agree with neither. War is not the alternative to accommodation. It is the natural extension of accommodation." Mrs. Rajavi said, "We can still avert a catastrophe. We must take advantage of whatever opportunity that remains. I believe there is a third option: democratic change in Iran by the Iranian people and their resistance." Pointing to Tehran's increasing interference in Iraq, she noted, "The biggest threats the mullahs pose is their meddling in Iraq, which they have overshadowed with nuclear projects. The mullahs' meddling in Iraq has advanced so much that they have set up prisons and torture centers in this country. They have also gained control of many ministries. Iraq, for the Iranian mullahs, is a springboard for dominating the entire Middle East. Today, the clerical regime is using its position in Iraq as a lever to coerce the Western countries into retreat in nuclear talks. The mullahs' advances in Iraq have emboldened the regime to demagogically call for the elimination of Israel. Democracy in Iraq and peace in the Middle East are dangerous for the mullahs. For this reason, they are trying their utmost to sabotage both processes." Mrs. Rajavi outlined the following as the first essential steps to thwart the Iranian regime's nuclear and fundamentalist threats: immediate review of the clerical regime's nuclear file by the UN Security Council, imposition of oil, arms, technological and diplomatic sanctions, investigating the atrocities of the Iranian regime and its leaders against the Iranian people and its terrorist crimes outside of Iran in an international tribunal, removing the unjust terror tag from the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran and extending support to the National Council of Resistance of Iran as the Iranian people's legitimate resistance.
Permettez-moi de souligner à nouveau que les mollahs ont poussé la région au bord de la catastrophe. La communauté des nations se trouve devant un choix. Le compromis avec les mollahs et la guerre ou la fermeté et la paix. Le retrait de l'étiquette injuste de terroriste de l'Organisation des Moudjahidines du peuple d'Iran et le soutien au CNRI en tant que résistance légitime du peuple iranien. Merci beaucoup.
designed to express support for the NCRI and for Mrs. Mariam Rajavi. Of the Commons, 279 MPs have signed statements supporting the NCRI. That is virtually half the British House of Commons, and 126 in the upper house. Say firstly that the PMOI are not terrorists, and quote a statement of 2,000 British lawyers who have signed a statement to the effect that there is no justification for this classification. The classification, thirdly, has been political, not security valid, if I can make up a phrase. And the statement ends by saying that democratic change in Iran through the Iranian people and their resistance represents the only means of ensuring peace and stability in the Middle East. So what we are saying in the United Kingdom, certainly, is that the European Union and our British government must change fundamentally their policy.
Que peuvent faire les Nations Unies? Va-t-on se lancer dans des sanctions militaires? Certainement pas. Quand on voit le résultat désastreux de ce qui se passe à côté, on peut penser que ce ne sera pas le cas, et heureusement. Va-t-on se lancer dans des sanctions économiques? La seule réponse que nous pouvons avoir collectivement, je dirais les États démocratiques, la seule réponse que nous pouvons avoir, c'est de permettre que le peuple iranien choisisse vraiment le régime qu'il veut par les voies démocratiques. Et cette réponse-là, eh bien, nous pouvons l'encourager, c'est ce que nous essayons de faire, les uns et les autres, dans nos instances et nos pays respectifs, de différentes manières. Et je crois qu'aujourd'hui, la seule manière de le faire, c'est de soutenir ce que fait le Conseil national de la résistance iranienne avec sa présidente, Mme Mariam Rajavi.
I fully agree with the third option of Mme Rajavi, femme très courageuse. Like a lot of my colleagues in the Belgian Parliament and in the Senate, we believe that the international community must learn out of the mistakes in the past. We think that isolation of an Islamic country doesn't work. We think that to threaten with nuclear arms, as your President Chirac has done, doesn't work. A war like we did in Iraq doesn't work. We too, or the parliaments, during recent years strongly believed that the terrorist labeling against the People's Mujahideen cannot be justified today, not by political, legal or even moral reasons. And it was, we think, mainly done in order to appease the regime of Tehran. As said in the introduction, last month, the 23rd of December, the Belgian Senate unanimously adopted a resolution that clearly said that the European Union must review the policy towards Iran. Diplomacy doesn't work. And they have to give opposition more chances. And for that reason, too, we asked our government to make work in the European Union of the review of the terror labeling of the People's Mujahideen.
Pourquoi est-ce que les syndicats ne disent pas c'est pas possible? Pourquoi est-ce qu'on ne dit pas on est tout à fait avec nos amis, nos frères conducteurs du bus de Téhéran? Pourquoi est-ce que quand demain on verra à nouveau des menaces contre des enfants, des peines de mort passées contre des enfants, pourquoi est-ce qu'on ne fait pas quelque chose? Je suis absolument persuadé que si on appuie la véritable opposition iranienne, la société civile, la résistance iranienne, si on enlève les Moudjahidines de la liste des organisations terroristes, les choses peuvent changer. La troisième voie, elle est bien possible et je crois que c'est la seule façon à éviter une catastrophe. Et c'est ce que je voudrais surtout vous dire. Une fois encore, merci beaucoup.